ready to make Monday quilt chat with me? Yeah? Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to Lessons Learnt. I'm Sherry, if this is your first time here, and Blue, my quilting support dog. He is a cockapoo. Many times I get the question, what kind of dog is Blue? He is a cockapoo. And he hangs out here in the she shed with me while I quilt and sew and cut and do all the things. Yes, he does. He's got that nice little grumble on all the time. Don't you? His groomer gets a kick out of that. He just has this little grunt that he does. Kind of like a... you're killing me. You're killing me here. I know, you don't get paid enough. You don't get paid enough to be on TV. I understand. Yeah. He just came in from outside again. And you smell like outside. You smell like squirrels and... You know what I saw earlier? I saw a groundhog. He was in your yard. You did not see the groundhog? There has been a groundhog that's been trying to dig up around this shed. Like he wants to, or she wants to get under there and create a family and live there. But we have done everything we can to keep that from happening. A few years ago, when I turned this into a sewing studio, we dug a ditch all the way around it and put some wire, like hardware, I think they call it hardware wire. And it's down about 2 feet and then over like a foot. And then filled it back in with dirt. Well, it's like up against the building and then this way. They still try to dig under that, but they can't get... They get too tired before they can get the job done. And then we go and put the dirt back and lay some rocks on top of it or some bricks or something. And then they just end up moving on. And I think that groundhog I saw was the one that had been doing that. So I think they live down in the culvert down by the road now. I don't know how that's going to work out when things get wet. But... lots of critters around here. I had a pretty good weekend. I did manage to get quite a bit done this weekend. And, you know, some loose ends getting closer to being completely tied up. And all of those sorts of things. I'll show you a picture of the peach preserves right here. I have all of the wedges done now. All I have to do now is there's 5 rows. I have to put those 5 rows together and then connect the rows. So getting there. I'm happy with that progress at least. And another thing I did, I'm going to have to put Blue down so I can show you, is I got the rest of my cutting done for the summer wedding. This is the quilt I'm going to enter into the fair next year. And I cut all of the colored parts that you see there. And that took a long time. It was several sessions of cutting. And I think I may have cut too many of those right there. That size right there. So now I can get busy on this. I don't know about getting busy on it. I can get started on it and establish a routine with it so that I can get it done. I also did some scrap things. You know, I had leftover folk and lore I didn't know what I was going to do with. All those half square triangles that I hadn't sewn up. So I went ahead and made a little thing like this for those. Sewed them up, trimmed them, put the border on, and I also even put a little border of the grunge on there too. So I think that turned out cute. I'll stick that on the bottom of a quilt as I get them done. I also had this much left of just odd stuff, so I'll make a little coaster or something out of that. And then I did this middle part of this one a while back. I think these are 3.5-inch squares that I had, and I decided to just sew all of them up and not keep that size anymore. I think that's what it's from. I'm not 100% sure because these turn out to be like 3 inches. And so there again, I put the same little thin border on as the background. And then I can't tell you what this is. It was something in my stash, but I thought it kind of finished it out pretty good. So there again, I will put that on the bottom of a quilt when I have it on the long arm and use up the whatever's left of the backing on a bigger quilt. I didn't show you that already, did I? I don't think I did. I can't keep track from one day to the next what's going on. So I did those items. For me, that was a lot. I felt like that was a lot for just a weekend. I did 9 of those wedges on the peach preserves. I did all this cutting, and then I had done these little things here. All of this stuff takes time. You think you're going to go in and knock something out in a hurry, and it ends up always taking way longer than you think. So that's what I got done, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think the next thing I can show you is my recent acquisitions. I have 2 things. I have the Eclectic Elements palette. This one is charcoal, and it's the Tim Holtz that I've been collecting every month. There's a new color every month. This is charcoal. So I'll show you what these look like. This one is like cursive handwriting. And this one is kind of like a city. I don't think it's a city. I think it's actually a blueprint type of thing. Doors. It's a blueprint of doors. That's pretty cool, actually. Love all these prints. I like the interesting different things that they put on them. And then this one is alphabet, but it's very different. It has some sort of like little connecting things there between. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's, I don't know what it means. Alphabet. And then we have some butterflies. Butterflies, moths, what have you. And then these are the stamps. We've seen that print before. And then here are the ticket stubs. This is one of the darker ones. Remember, this is charcoal. And here is the punch cards. It's what I call them. I don't know if that's what it is or not. Might be something from times gone by that I don't realize what it is. If you know what that is, let me know in the comments. Here's the memorabilia. Always love this one. Lots of photos and signs and things like that. It looks like there's a lot of the other, I just noticed this. There's a lot of these other prints that I've been showing you in this one. I don't know if that's what the other colors have been doing or not. But that's pretty cool. And then here is a map. And let's see if I can figure out where this is. Well, it's Buffalo, New York. It does say it on it. Right there. And then there's one of these kind of, I don't know what you call it, kind of acid or rustic urban type of print to go with it. So that is those Eclectic Elements, Tim Holtz palette charcoal. So I got this one from Hawthorne Quilting Company this time, and the reason why is because that was the best price I could find. I usually go between Villa Rosa, Quilting a Day, and Hawthorne on those Tim Holtz palettes. And the other two places is usually the best deal, but they didn't have it for a good price this time. So I got it from Hawthorne, and Hawthorne had it for, I want to say it was $35, and then there was tax and shipping. So it was just under $40, something like that. The other thing that I got was I got a collection of threads. Remember I said I was going to take this project bag and put this in it, and I did that. This is the fall. It's this quilter runs on pumpkin spice and everything nice, and it's by Primitive Gatherings, Pumpkin Spice Gatherings. This is called, yeah, Pumpkin Spice Gatherings, but it's the panel, and you embroider it. And so they had made up, back when that was newer, they had made up different companies of thread had made up collections, and that's what this is, the Pumpkin Spice Gatherings Panel Thread Kit. I'll show it to you. I've never used this Valdani. Tell me what you think about it. It's pretty high quality, I think, but this type of thread I've not used, but I'm anxious to use it. I think it'll be really pretty on the panel. So there's no guidance really on which ones to use where, other than just follow the colors on here. So that's what I'm going to do with that. That'll be a winter project. A slow stitch type thing. And it might take me all winter or longer to get it done, but I'm not worried about it. They still have some of these. I'll tell you where I got it. I've got the little card in here. I'm going to keep this in here just in case. It's Montana Quilting Company. MontanaQuiltingCompany.com and ThreadValet.com is where you can order it. So Montana Quilting Company is what I got it from. So if you want to get some, if you have this panel, go ahead out there and get it sooner rather than later, because if you don't want to have to pick the threads yourself and just get this thread kit that's already figured out for you, I think they still have some. So there you go. I'll be working on that. I need a number 22 crewel needle. And I need to check in my pins and needles little section over there and see if I have a 22 crewel needle. Hold on, I want to do that. I have all kinds of needles here from years gone by that I've never used quilting between. So here's a tapestry 18 by 20, 18 to 22. I wonder if that's it. That might be it. It doesn't feel sharp though. For heavier threads and crafts, there's no sharpness to that, but that might be a good thing. Even though that panel is just fabric, it's not like a woven cloth. For heavier threads and crafts, 18 over 22. What does that mean? Here's Milliner, size 10, Golden Eye. There's a chenille needle. Maybe that's what they said, chenille. These are numbered. Well, it doesn't say what number it is. That's old. Yarn darners, 14 over 18. 3 over 9. More milliners. There's some quilting. Okay, so these talk about, this is tapestry, sharps, betweens, embroidery, and cotton darners. Huh. There's just all kinds in there. There's probably something in this. This is one of those drits. Look how old that is. I don't even know what that ticket's from. It might be from Hancock Fabrics, or who knows. It's been in there a long time. And then here's a little needle holder. It's got needles in it. Quilting needles number 10. Well, I will just have to see. I don't remember now where I saw that you needed to use a 22 with that. I really don't. So anyway, wait a minute, here's some more. Repair needles, carpet packing, bookbinding, sales. These are counted cross-stitch needles. Oh, I must tell you all, I ordered a cross-stitch project. I'll show you when it comes in. I don't know if I'm going to really get back into cross-stitch or not, but it's something I've seen for a long time. It's getting a little more scarce, a particular one. And I am doing it on 14 because I just don't want to go down too small. I might get discouraged and quit. So, I don't know. Maybe one of these would be right. I want to say these tapestry needles right here might be good. I'll try it and see. Yeah. Yarn darners. Chenille. Maybe I'll leave that one out too. I'm thinking it said a number 22 chenille needle. And you know, those all look alike to me, other than the length of them and the eye. I'll see if one of those work. So let me put this back. If y'all have any guidance on that, put it in the comments there. Since I've never done anything with that type of thread before. I also have, that was it for the recent acquisitions. I did get some organization stuff that I'm going to be using soon on something. And I also got this magazine. I got the American Patchwork and Quilting. Finally, it had gone on tour and didn't get to me when everybody else's did. I don't know what that was about. But let me pull some things out of here. Most of it is holiday, but there are some things in here I wanted to mention out of it. So let me find those items. There's lesson number 1 on long arm quilting. So if you're new to long arming, be sure and read these. The more information you can get when it comes to long arming, the better. Not all the advice is always the same, but it's just like with other types of sewing that we do. You know, you have to find out what's the right thing for you. And this one is actually talking about, is a long arm right for you? So if you're still in the thinking phase of getting a long arm, you're going to want to read this. And there's even like a little flowchart thing, like, you know, if this, then that, and on down. And then it gives you the answer whether you should get a long arm or not. And then which one, and the space you have, and all of that stuff is in here. There's also a Master the Basics on accurate 1/4 inch seams. If that's something that you've struggled with, maybe take a look at this article. Maybe it will speak your language and you'll finally read or see something in the illustrations that will help you to get that accurate 1/4 inch seam that you've been struggling with. There's two things, and I've said this before, there's two things that, among other things, there's two main things that factor into accurate and precision quilting, and that is your cutting, which can involve what you're cutting with and the rulers you're using, and then your 1/4 inch seam on your machine. So those things have to be constant and correct to be able to sew accurately. They just have to. Almost all problems that you end up with are a result of one or both of those things not being optimum. So anything we can read on it or listen to on it on YouTube or wherever, that's going to help us to be able to work out the kinks in our lack of accuracy. Here's a pattern called passing through. 2 alternating blocks create push and pull motion across an oversized throw. 2 different blocks there that you make. Here's the actual finished. Now here's one, it's called Holiday Lane, but it's a house one, but it's a real easy one that you could take any sort of fabric line to, or even scraps, and just make the sizes that they're calling for there. Just your fabric. You don't have to make a roof and a door and a window and such. You just make those arrow kind of shaped blocks there with stitch and flips, all different sizes. Put them together and you've got yourself a little village there. So that could be used any time of year. And then here's a really beautiful quilt. This is called Farmhouse Stars. It's designed by Kim Deal, and it looks very much like what a Kim Deal quilt looks like. So that's a nice one. Opportunities there to do some good quilting on that, to make those plainer squares stand out. You see that right there? This is very pretty. Let me see if I can find it's only 9 blocks. Nope, it doesn't have it looks like this is what they're showing. But you could easily make it bigger than that. I'm thinking this one is probably, that's a 42.5 inch square is all it is. So it'd make a great wall hanging, and each block is 12 inches. Could probably easily take your Kim Deal scraps or your reproduction fabric stash and make it bigger using those 12 inch blocks. Okay, that's it on that one. So and I think I just renewed my subscription. You can put it on auto renew, and it'll just charge your account when it's time, and then you don't have to worry that you've missed an issue. So I just saw that go through on mine, so I'm good for a couple years now. I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to talk about the art quilt, but did you all watch Kimberly on Fat Quarter Shop this past weekend? She had an over 3-hour live. Now, I didn't see it live. I was probably a couple hours short of seeing it live, but she was talking about all the quilts and stuff that she's going to do this year coming up. I think she had 22 written down, and she's actually going to use this, which surprised me. You know, she always has that binder, although they are, you know, because she has people helping her, they are keeping the binder, but she's going to use this, which is a quilt project book. It was in the Sew Sampler box, but you can buy these at the Fat Quarter Shop. I don't know, I think they're $10 to $15, I'm not sure. But anyway, I was surprised she was going to use that. With all she has to do, she's going to make 22 quilts. You know, just like quilt-alongs and quilt projects of her own and all that. And then I think she had another 3 or so that she was going to probably throw into the mix. So it was an interesting show, and of course she shows all the new fabrics. That's kind of that's where I go to now, kind of to look and see what the new fabric lines are that she's going to have in the shop. And you know, a lot of times I do get stuff from Fat Quarter Shop, but other times, you know, it's just nice to see, you know, what's coming out, and maybe you would see it on sale somewhere else. So she provides that. That's good for us, isn't it? I always enjoy seeing what's coming out new. So instead of seeing what's coming out new and then having to buy it right there on the spot, you know what I'm talking about. Like I said last week, I'm getting a little bit excited. I'm getting a lot of bit excited about next year and the things that, you know, we're gonna do here on the channel, projects, and you know, some different things. I don't know. I've got that list going. So pretty soon, a couple months here, before the end of the year, you'll hear what's going to be going on. Long arm extravaganza has begun. Mark got his quilt done over the weekend, so we're going to pin that one on first and get it out of the way, and everything is going to just blow loose in there at the long arm, because I'm going to start long arming everything in there that's in my little cabinet where I have my backings and my quilt tops. So I'm going to get busy and try to do at least 2 a week, to try to get caught up by the end of the year. We'll see. I did not count how many I have. I don't think it was as bad as last year. Now that I'm looking at it, I was looking at it earlier, but I didn't count because I don't want to count. If I count, I'll feel defeated before I start. So I'm just gonna tear into them. As I have backings and make backings for them, I will keep them going. So we'll get his done, and he probably won't be doing another quilt for a little while. So everything else will be free. The long arm will be free for everything else I've got sitting in there to do. So can't wait to get started on that. So that means tomorrow I'll be doing some long arming. But before that, before I tell you what I'm going to do this week, let's look at the art quilt of the week. I'll put it right here. Isn't this pretty? And I love the name of it. It's Getting to Know Hue. Hue. And if you'll see there, everything's done up in you know, the color wheel. Every color is represented there. All the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors are in this. It's kind of got a Lone Star middle to it, and with some applique squares around that, and then some geometric, and then you've got all your sample blocks all the way around. Everything's set up on a field of grays. Looks like there's 2 grays there. This is beautiful, and I feel like it's just very representative of the color wheel and how to put color together on a quilt when you're using every color. So not an easy thing to do. So this is 94 by 94, Getting to Know Hue by Cindy Peterson of Wyoming, Michigan. It says, using fabrics designed specifically for this pattern, Cindy enjoyed seeing the colors come together as Nancy Rink intended. The most challenging part for Cindy was piecing the star together. This quilt was shown in the 2022 West Michigan Quilters Guild Quilt Show and won first place in its category and best of show in hand quilting. It was also displayed in a special exhibit at the 2022 AQS Quilt Week at the Grand Rapids Show. Wow. So you just know a prize-winning quilt when you see it, don't you? It's best in show and a first place in its category. So this is a model quilt of putting color together. It really is. So we can always work a little bit harder on our color wheel and understanding it, and being mindful of how to place color in a quilt. It makes all the difference. It really does. I'm not an expert at it. I enjoy trying, and that's the main thing. I want to enjoy everything I do, and yeah, it's a little bit tricky sometimes. So just keep working at it and keep looking at your color wheel tools that you have or online. I know I have one that's of hues, and it's kind of like a paint chip thing, and I can use that to kind of gauge whether I'm in the right collection of colors or not to be combined. So this is very pretty. I've heard that this is kind of a Lone Star type of quilt, but not really. It's put together like a Lone Star quilt, and those are hard because those diamonds can poof up and it can get wavy like this. But hers turned out really good, and look, she did all hand quilting on that. 94 by 94. Never ceases to amaze us, does it? Does it not? The art quilts that we've seen and looked at and examined this year so far. That was this week's. Okay, so I'm going to do some long arming. I want to get started, get marks done, try to get at least 2 small quilts of mine long armed this week, or 1 big one. We'll see. I'm going to start putting the rows together of the peach preserves. I'm going to possibly start on the summer wedding, just to kind of just barely start practicing on making those. There's a whole bunch of H-shaped pieces in there. I might start with that and try to get everything accurate with that and establish a memory pattern with how to put those together. What else? I did not do the blockheads last week, so I need to do that. And there will probably be a Jolly Bar 5 block this week. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the schedule before I started today. But if there is, there is. Above and beyond that, but actually before all of that, this is the week for the garden charm. So what we're going to be doing are these. All this around here. So feel free, if you're doing this project with me, to go ahead and cut out some of your bigger pieces. You know, some of these don't really do anything. They're just connecting these two. There's nothing in them. So, you know, you can get your pieces ready for the applique, and then when I do the video, when the video comes out on Wednesday, you'll see me helping you with the applique. And let's hope that I am a help with the applique. I don't do it a lot. I've done it quite a bit, but not perfected it. And there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. There's no one single way you have to do it, and that is the case with this project as well. You don't have to do needle turn. You don't have to do satin stitch. You don't have to do raw edge. You can do raw edge. You know, there's just all kinds of ways you can do it. And what you're going to do is listen to that video and pick a way that you want to do it, and just do it. So you have one's a little bit longer than the other, I think. Nah, don't listen to me yet. I haven't gotten into this. So I think these 4 or 2, we have 4 corners, but there's 2 separate blocks we're working with. So it won't be too much, don't worry. But that's what we're going to do, and there again, I'll have the commercial in front of the video, so if you want to skip through that, you can. Okay, so I've got big plans this week, and I need special energy to do it, so I'm going to try to get sleep, eat right, and use my time wisely this week so that I can get all of these wonderful things done. If I don't get them done, it's okay. There's always next weekend, and the next week, and the next week. That's just how we do it as quilters. It's not like going to a job where you have to produce a certain amount each day or you're in trouble. We don't want to look at it like that. So hang in there. Take a look at all your projects this week that you're working on, and kind of get them in a priority list and start hacking away at them. And if you're like me, you like to do a little bit on each one and just kind of rotate that way. That's what keeps me going for long stretches of time. So I kind of did that this week a little bit more faithfully than I usually have been recently. So I kind of relearned something this past week. So keep that in mind. If you're kind of scatterbrained like me, then it's okay. It's okay. Just jump from one thing to the next. Everything you're touching, you're getting a little bit done. You're a little bit closer to being finished with one of them. And yeah, just make that list of all the things that you want to do this week, and just hack into it. All right. That's good. Everything's good. I hope you have a great week. I will see you back here on Wednesday for the Garden Charm, and then back on Friday for Finish It Friday. 3 videos a week. Stay tuned for all of those. Make sure you're subscribed. The subscriber numbers are jumping around a lot right now, so YouTube is doing that. Make sure you're still subscribed and that you have the black bell checked so that you get notifications of all the videos. All right, have a great fun week sewing, and I will see you soon. Bye.